On this episode, I discuss Hillary Clinton's upcoming economic plan to ruin what's left of the country. Are we in store for another mini ice age? And the student government at Johns Hopkins University wants to ban Chick-fil-A. Today on the Common Constitutionalist.
You are listening to the Common Constitutionalist, broadcasting from an undisclosed location, free from the prying eyes of establishment black helicopters.
So I think it's tomorrow that Hillary Clinton's going to reveal her wonderful economic plan. And who doesn't think it's going to be a smorgasbord of leftist utopian spending programs? As a matter of fact, the Daily Mail begins a column that they wrote on it, and it starts with spend, spend, spend. Hillary reveals her liberal economic plan. Universal pre-K, more student aid, paid family leave, and a minimum wage hike. Big surprise. So she's been informally running or not running or whatever it's been for, it seems like, forever. And yet now she's coming out with an economic plan. And apparently the reason is that she's been on a listening campaign. She's been listening to the concerns of everyday Americans across the country and in early voting states in particular. Well, gee, wonder why that is, early voting states. The New York Times says that basically her programs are going to include universal pre-kindergarten, subsidized child care for working families, paid sick and family leave for new parents, higher education reform, and an increase in the federal minimum wage. Holy crap. But, honestly, who didn't see this coming, really? She's easily as leftist as Obama. She's an Alinskyite, like Obama. Heck, more than Obama. She knew Alinsky. Heck, Alinsky tried to hire her, if we recall correctly. Oh, and one other thing. She's also urging businesses to adopt profit-sharing programs for their employees. Urging. That's the progressive term. First you urge, then it's voluntary, and then it's mandatory. That's the way the progressives work. That's the way the liberal, leftist, Marxists work. So let's see. Let's break this down here real quick. Universal pre-kindergarten. I wonder why we need, all of a sudden now, we need pre-kindergarten. Could it be that the state wants to get a hold of your kids? You might as well just hand them over at birth, because that's eventually what they're going to want to do, is just you give birth. If you're even allowed to do that, it'll be like the Matrix. They're just grown in test tubes. And then you hand them over to the state because you're too stupid to raise your own children, and they'll do it the proper way. Indoctrinate them properly in pre-kindergarten. Love to know what the pre-kindergarten regime would be. Or regimen, I guess, would be better. Subsidized child care for working families. Problem is that most people that need subsidized child care don't have a job anymore, thanks to the Obama administration. So I guess the first thing you need to do is get them a government job, and then you can put them into pre-kindergarten. Heck, if they're in pre-kindergarten all the time, why do you need child care? I mean, I don't know what pre-kindergarten is, but they don't have to be that old to get in. Paid sick leave for families and new parents. Who's going to pay for this? Is it going to be a voluntary program? Corporations and companies, small businesses are going to pay for their employees to be absent? How are they going to replace them? Who are they going to replace them with? How are they going to find the money to pay for this stuff? Are they going to have to apply for some sort of government grant with lots of strings attached in order to get the money to pay for an employee not to be there? Is that the way it's going to work? Most likely. Higher education reform? I wonder what that would be. Probably free college for everybody in the the College of the United States. There'll end up being one university left before it's all done. Kind of like Obamacare, where there'll be one humongous insurance company that runs Obamacare. And, of course, they can't be left out of the minimum wage battle. They've got to hike that sucker. What do you figure? 10, 15, 20 bucks an hour? She's probably going to have to outdo Seattle and those dopes over there on the left coast who insist on paying their employees eventually $15 an hour and seeing all the businesses go out. But, hey, what the heck. The Daily Mail says that that it's unclear how she'll pay for the programs. Of course it's unclear. We can't afford to pay for these programs. What's the difference if they pay for these programs? It sounds good. It's populist. That's the way it works. You tell the low information scabs that vote for Hillary or would vote for any Democrat at this point exactly what they want to hear, and then they go vote for you stupidly, thinking that you're actually going to go through with or come through with what you've promised them. You never do. It never works, and they never learn. But that's the formula. But she has to remain or lurch further to the left to battle Bernie Sanders. I don't even know how to do Bernie's accent. How do you come from Vermont and have like a Brooklyn or a Bronx accent? That doesn't square with me. But hey, Bernie, his big deal on his platform, one of his fundamental pillars of this platform, is the dissolution of the big banks. His slogan is, if it's too big to fail, it's too big to exist. It's just terrific. There's your free market hero for you, Bernie. At any rate, the Daily Mail says that Clinton's soon-to-be-released agenda is sure to leave fiscal conservatives and the business wing of the Republican Party fuming. Why, in heaven's name, would we be fuming over something that's so obvious that we could have written her agenda for her? Anything. You pick your leftist, most radical policy, and that's what the agenda is going to be. Just pick one, add it to the agenda, and she'll pick up on it. What's the difference? She doesn't care what she says. The same with Obama. The same with any of these leftists. They don't care what they have to say to get elected. All they want to do is get back into government. That's it, so they can control it. And Charles Chamberlain, he's the executive director for Democracy for America, He said that economic populism is the key to connecting with Americans of all income levels and political ideologies across the entire country. Of course it is. If you don't pay attention, populism is just basically what the general public wants to hear. And the leftists want to hear what the latest giveaway is going to be, and they'll vote for whomever gives the most crap or promises to give the most crap away. They don't ever deliver. No one ever gets better. Punishing the rich it's not going to do a hill of beans for the poor, but that doesn't matter. As long as you say you're going to do that, they'll vote for you. So everybody might be waiting for Hillary's big announcement on her economic plan, but it really doesn't make any difference what it is. We already know it's going to be a bunch of giveaways, and that's that.
You're listening to the Common Constitution Podcast. Let the truth be known.
All right. So, while Obama, the leftists, James Hansen, NASA, NOAA, the UN, even the Pope are all fussing around with climate change and global warming and all that other nonsense, real scientists are predicting the next mini ice age just on our horizon. Isn't that wonderful? Can I divert for just a second? And I don't want to upset any Catholics, but I'm sorry. This guy, this Pope, he is a man, by the way. He's not God. He's the Pope. He's the leader of your religion. But he's a man and should be held to account when he's wrong. I mean, dead wrong. And this global warming crusade he's on is frankly going to give the Catholic religion a black eye. The further down this rabbit hole he goes, the worse it's going to get for him and the worse it's going to get for you guys. I don't know what can be done. I'm just voicing my opinion. I wish you guys the best, but whoever picked this Pope, I'm sorry, but they picked the wrong guy this time. That's just my opinion. At any rate, back to freezing our booty off. I was really hoping for global warming because I like it hot. But a mini ice age, not so much looking forward to a mini ice age. Don't like winter to begin with. Yeah, live in New England. Don't like the climate. That's that. But at any rate, a new model of the sun's solar cycle is being producing unprecedentedly accurate predictions of irregularities with the sun's 11-year cycle, or what they call a heartbeat, I guess. Predictions from this model suggest that solar activity will fall by about 60% during the 2030s to conditions last seen during the mini ice age that began in 1645. This is some serious business, folks, and it all has to do with sunspots and it all has to do with solar activity, UV radiation, all that nonsense. But they've been using data analyzing data going all the way back to the 19th century, and they've finally, I don't know what took them so long to conclude that the primary factor responsible for the climate variations on the Earth is the sun. I'm no scientist, but I knew that. I mean, really? It's colder at night. Sun comes out, warms up. If you have sunspots, it gets warmer. When you don't have sunspots, it's colder. I'd like to say it ain't rocket science. I guess it kind of isn't rocket science, but it is science. But how is it that a rube like me or any other of the rubes that don't believe in man-caused global warming know full well that the sun is the primary, probably 80% of the climate is controlled by the sun. A fraction might be man-caused. You'd never know it anyway. But at any rate, that's enough ranting. Well, for now anyway. This German scientist Raimund Muscheller, I don't know if it's pronounced properly, from the Lund University in Sweden, says that the study shows an unexpected link between solar activity and climate change. How is it? What? I'm on board with these guys, but how is it that the science is just catching up to the obvious? I mean, honestly, I don't understand how they can just be figuring this crap out. Have they been on the global warming bandwagon for this long that they've had the blinders on or something? What's with these guys? But he says that understanding these processes helps to better forecast the climate in certain regions. Their basic theory, basically, of the scientific conventional wisdom, for want of a better term, holds that solar activity swings back and forth like a pendulum, basically. At the end of one cycle, there's a quiet time with less sunspots and less solar flares, and that's when you get these minimums when it's colder. And then you have increased solar activity at the other end of the spectrum, or the other end of the scale, where you have high sunspot and high solar flare activity, and that's when you get warm-ups. And this rhythm or cycle repeats, they say 11 years, but it could be anywhere from 10 to 14 or whatever. It's not exact, but it's pretty close, so they've averaged out to about 11 years. But now what they're doing is they're measuring two of these dynamos, I guess they call them, solar cycles, not only on the surface, but the But they're also measuring the convecting fluid deep within the sun. They're somehow able to measure that. And they combine the two waves together and compare the real-time data for the current solar cycle, and they found that the predictions show a 97% accuracy. So yes, they are generating computer models, but they're generating off of real data, off of real-time measurements, instead of this bullcrap man-made global warming nonsense where you get garbage in. They have a conclusion that they've already drawn, and then they have to prove the conclusion that they want. That's global warming, faux science, phony science. But these guys have been deadly accurate because they're measuring the actual cycles. This is real science, not fake, phony science. So as these dopes, these politicians, these scientific hacks that are in the pockets of the government officials and the people who pay them off, as they continue to push their global warming nonsense, meanwhile, we're heading right smack starting around 2020 into the next mini ice age, and they're predicting that it could be as bad as the last Maunder minimum, which went from, I think it was 1645 to 1715, if I remember correctly. And that's when you got year-round snow and lower elevations where the snow would melt normally. The snow would stay there year-round. The River Thames in England, which never freezes over, froze solid. Number of years it froze solid. Matter of fact, they used to have what they called these frost fairs in England, where they would all come out and actually they'd have fairs on the river because it was frozen solid. So I guess my best advice prior to 2020 or thereafter is to what was that stupid movie, The Day After Tomorrow, where global warming actually caused the next ice age or some such nonsense. Everybody had to move to the lower climates and into the more temperate climates. By 2020, y'all better have moved to Florida or Texas, because it's going to get mighty chilly up in New England, baby. I don't know. I hope not. Frankly, I'd like to have some global warming, but it certainly geologically, scientifically, realistically doesn't look that way.
You're listening to the Common Constitution. Let the truth ring in. Let the truth cheers.
So the student government at Johns Hopkins leftist University has passed a resolution to call on the administrators of the school to get Chick-fil-A off campus because because the CEO's for traditional marriage, and the College Fix has this story. As an aside, there are 3 websites that deal with university life, conservative concerns on college campuses. The College Fix is one of them. EAG News is the other, and campus reform is the third. All of these guys are freaking awesome. They have their fingers on the pulse of all the wackiness for the of the skulls full of mush in the college university ranks, and it's astounding what these children are up to at these on these university campuses, and what they're being taught by their whacked out professors. It's absurd. But at any rate, so thank you for allowing me the digression. But at any rate, so Chick-fil-A is now, you may or may not have heard, is the most popular fast food restaurant in the country. Not McDonald's, not Burger King, Wendy's, Subway, whatever. It's Chick-fil-A. And they've also got the yummiest freaking food on the planet. If you've never had a Chick-fil-A sandwich, you are missing out on life. I'm telling you what, brother. I remember going to Chick-fil-A at least once a week at Lenox Square Chick-fil-A in Atlanta. And I remember specifically to this day, like it was yesterday, how bummed out, how disappointed I was when I went to the mall, Lenox Square Mall, on a Sunday to go get a Chick-fil-A sandwich, and they were closed. And this was eons ago, back when I was a young fool. Now I'm an old fool. But I was I was visibly shaken when it was the funniest thing. At any rate, I'm sorry. Back to this thing. So the College Fix says the restaurant has declined in popularity among some Johns Hopkins University students who recently declared its presence on campus a, dig this, microaggression against the LGBTQ community. What the floppity flip is that? Here you go. If I may define LGBTQ. They left one out, actually. Here we go. You ready for this? Okay, I actually had to look this up because actually they left out two digits. It used to just be lesbian and gay, homosexual. And then it was lesbian, gay, and bisexual. And then it was LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. And now here's the new one, LGBTQIA, E-I-E-I-O. You ready for this? Here we go. The L is lesbian. The G is for gay. The B, bisexual, of course, right? The T is for transgender. The Q, I thought the Q was for questioning. You know, you're questioning what gender you are. Apparently I was wrong. A hetero fool that I am. The Q is queer. I thought that was a derogatory term, but not when it's used by queers. The I is intersex. It's like, God, you know what? Better part of valor. I'm leaving that sucker alone. The A is asexual. I can think of some other A word, but I'll leave that alone. And then there's another A, which is ally, a person who does not identify as LGBTQIA, E-I-E-I-O, but supports the rights and safety of those who do. What the frick? I mean, how many? It's just getting to be so ridiculous, so stupid. This is going to backfire on this lobby. They're going to get so far afield, though they already are so far afield, that the American people are just going to turn on them and just say, you know what, the hell with the whole bunch of you. You're all such a bunch of screwed up fools. Get a clue. There's men and there's women and there's nothing in between and there's no questioning. If you want to question, and do it on your own time. Stay home and question. Don't make me buy into your nonsense. All right, here I am ranting again. Sorry about that, guys. But the problem that the administrators have, see, the school government, to recap, the school government has issued a resolution that by the spring that they want to, or by the end of this year, I guess, they want Chick-fil-A off the campus because they're a microaggression. And that's the new term. I love all these leftist crap. They get so bound up, they don't even know what half this crap is. But at any rate, the problem is that Chick-fil-A has a contract since 2012 for athletic events on campus. And so how are you going to boot off the restaurant? What are they going to do? Just cry breach of contract? I would just cry breach of contract if I was Chick-fil-A and say, you know what, screw you people. We're out of here. If this is the way you're going to treat us, boo freaking who for you. See you later. There is a a Christian leader, Christian fellowship leader, a student, named Justin Tibbles. He's the staff team leader of Johns Hopkins InterVarsity Christian Fellowship. And he says that he hopes that this decision doesn't send a trend, or doesn't set a trend where student groups are unfaithfully targeted for holding unpopular opinions, but thus far I have no reason to believe that it will. Yes, it will. If you're a Christian, if you're a religious person, if you're right of center at all, yes, it will. And that's the way it works. Listen to the interview with Jerry Seinfeld, not exactly a right-wing loony, when he describes not performing on college campuses anymore because they literally have no sense of humor at all. Everything to them is a microaggression. What a bunch of freaking pansies we're turning out in college. I don't understand it for the life of me, but such is life. When the College Fix reached out to the student government, their executive board declined comment about the petition because there is a petition in support of this. Some other students have started and are getting signatures in support of keeping Chick-fil-A on campus. And the student government naturally declined to speak of it. So they're learning from our government how to just say, you know what, I don't want to talk to that. I'm in student government, just like the regular government. I don't answer to anyone, and I don't want to make a comment. I just think this is the most ridiculous thing, frankly. Again, if I was Chick-fil-A, I'd bag it and find another university. I bet there's universities, well, maybe not, but some colleges I bet are clamoring to sign a deal with Chick-fil-A, the most popular restaurant in America. So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what this is, but Johns Hopkins, I know, is the bastion of progressivism. It has been since the time of, well, frankly, before Woodrow Wilson. At any rate, that's all I got for today, folks. Y'all have a great day. I plan on it, and we'll talk to you next time.